Okay, this week we're going to be working on using your basic shapes and turning them into houses. We're going to start with squares, rectangles, triangles, trapezoids, and parallelograms. And these are the basic shapes that we use as blocks as well. So we use the orange squares, and we don't really have too many rectangles, but they're usually longer ones. We have the green triangles, we have the red trapezoids, and then we have the blue parallelograms. And basically the same shapes as we always draw and always do. Straight lines, connected. Remember, we have sides, which are also called edges. We have vertices, or the corners. That's a square. A rectangle is going to be two squares connected either horizontally or vertically. And then we have a triangle, has three sides and three vertices. And then the square, kind of on a slant, is going to be our parallelogram. And then we have our trapezoid, which is really like three of those triangles together. If you break it down, it's three of those blue or green triangles together. Now we're going to use these to draw houses. And when we draw houses, you can use a pencil or a marker. I would suggest you use a pencil first. When you're using a pencil, please make sure that you draw lightly. Remember using a number 3, because then it's easy to erase. And basic houses this week. So we're going to start first with the first basic house, which is going to be first off a square, and then on top of it a triangle. Once you finish with your pencil drawing, then you can go back over with marker and just outline the outside edge of both shapes. Now these are going to be 2D, so they're flat looking on a flat piece of paper, so they're 2D. And then you can add your details of your house that you like. You can add doors. And if you want to add windows, you can add windows. Remember, your doors and windows are just going to be basic rectangles and squares. And after you draw your rectangles and squares, then you can put some plus signs in them in order to make window panes. Or you can do basic shapes like circles and put a plus sign. Next one we're going to do is a rectangle. So I'm going to start with a rectangle, horizontal rectangle. And this time we're going to do a parallelogram. So I'm going to do a long parallelogram. And then I'm going to add this triangle and this square to it. So I have a triangle here and a square there. This kind of looks like a barn. So and I have that basic shape of the side view of a house. Now that same thing can happen with a trapezoid on the top. So if I do a rectangle on the bottom for the house, and then I do a trapezoid at the top. This roof style is called a hip roof. And then I can just outline it. So trapezoid and rectangle. And different styles of houses have different roof lines. And then if I wanted to get a little bit more decorative, then I can do a rectangle vertically and a rectangle horizontally. And then I can do my roof line, which is just part of that parallelogram. And then I can do a shortened triangle. And you can play with all these basic shapes and come up with different designs with different houses. And if you wanted to, you can go outside and look at your house and then see what your house shapes look like and draw that. Now, same thing can happen on both sides of something like this. So we can draw a square, and then a triangle, and then a rectangle, and then a rectangle, and then a parallelogram, and join it to that roof, which makes a really long ranch style house. Okay, if you get the chance and you can upload some photos of your houses that you drew, that'd be great. If not, just enjoy drawing them and see if you can come up with some different designs. And if you can, go outside and look at your house and look at the basic shapes and see if you can actually draw your house. That would be really cool.